Hello and welcome to the Filmspeak podcast. My name is Dave.
My name is Amanda.
And I'm Adam.
And today we're going to talk about movies.
Like every day.
Surprise!
How was everyone's week?
It was okay.
Busy. Holidays.
Yeah, glad that the holidays are over. No, I've said that before though. Anybody watch anything good over the holidays?
I did. I rewatched the reissue of the movie Phantasm. It was a really good transfer. The movie itself is great. I'd seen it before, but just upgraded it.
Boy.
Yeah. But yeah, it was good. Definitely worth the money to pick up the new transfer. Mm-hmm. Just because it's been out of print for a while on DVD and it's been fetching, over $20, which isn't bad in the grand scheme of things for a DVD, but when you can grab a Blu-ray also with a DVD for about that same price, it's worth it to do that. I also rewatched the movie Cooties, which it was, okay the first time I saw it, but
That's
second
like
time,
comedy, right?
It's
horror comedy.
It's kind of, yeah.
Is that the one with Dwight from The Office, Rainn Wilson?
Yes, yeah.
Love him.
He's definitely like one of the best things in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has some pretty funny parts, and Elijah Wood also funny.
Elijah Wood scares the shit out of me.
Well, that's
Maniac remake.
Yep,
Yeah.
I definitely saw that Maniac remake. That was something else.
Wow.
I thought he was creepy in Sin City too.
Yeah, it's just his whole look. He's good at it.
Elijah Wood, what a creep.
But yeah, I saw that. It's worth a second watch. I think I guess there were things that I didn't pick up the first time. But yeah, it's funny. Jack McBrayer is in it. Alison Pill.
Oh, nice.
Oh, love her.
I can't think of who else is in there.
You know what else she was in?
Dan in real life. Pancake Sleeper.
Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen.
That's like the one movie of hers I feel like I haven't seen.
I haven't seen it.
I love
She's
it.
in like Scott Pilgrim and Milk.
Oh yeah, she's
in the newsroom. She was good in the
I didn't
newsroom.
watch Newsroom.
Newsroom was good. What did you watch?
I have a bunch of stuff. I watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which was awesome, and my girlfriend hadn't seen it somehow. I watched the Ravens lose to the fucking Steelers the last minute of the game on Christmas Day. That was fun. We watched the original Terminator, which was again something my girlfriend hadn't seen. It was really fun to revisit for me. Terminator 2 is one of the best movies of all time. This movie's a really nice predecessor to that. And I know that literally it is, and that's what we've thought about it forever, the first in the trilogy, or the whatever it is now, but there's the same elements there, basically, but they're just done with less because he didn't have as much money, I feel like. You know, so some of the elements of the Terminator franchise are there, but I don't really know. I watched a bunch of other stuff. The Curve with Matthew Lillard and Kerry Russell.
I haven't seen that.
It's a totally shitty 90s, male-dominated point of view movie. Basically the same premise as Dead Man on Campus, if you remember that movie, where there's I don't know if it was how true it was, but I guess at some point in the 90s there was a phenomenon where if your college roommate committed suicide, you got straight A's.
Right, yeah.
And there's 2 movies based off that, I guess. The Curve and Dead Man on Campus, which is the only one to my knowledge before this. Not really worth talking about, other than if you like Matthew Lillard.
Can't say I'm a fan.
I like him, but I'm not going to seek.
Yeah.
I'm not going to seek it
Yeah,
out.
you shouldn't. You shouldn't. There's really nothing to recommend there. It's kind of bad. I watched Gary Marshall's New Year's Eve, which also I can't really recommend unless you're with a bunch of people around that time of year, which I wasn't, which is embarrassing.
You watched it yourself?
Yeah. On New Year's Day, which was really fun. A blast.
I bet.
I saw Suicide Squad, which was god-awful.
Yeah.
I really don't even have anything to say about that. Except for, what's your Joker laugh? Similar.
Yeah, super
it's
good.
Not good.
That was better than the movie, period.
I agree.
I saw the new Star Wars, which I thought was awesome.
Rogue One?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of like good stuff in there, and the actors are cool. Ben Mendelsohn hamming it up.
There's a guy I like in there, the guy from The Night Of.
Oh yeah.
Riz.
He was really good too.
I like him. He's killing it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, it feels different because like the first movie that's, obviously like not in canon episode order, so like, I mean, without giving anything away, like, people fucking die in this movie, and it's just bizarre, like in a Star Wars world, to like meet characters and then like you're not gonna see them again, or like you're not gonna see them in that light potentially again.
Right. Yeah. Well, especially since it's a movie from the past.
Oh yeah, true.
It's not like they're gonna just be showing up like,
that
hey.
is true. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was interesting. Definitely worth going to see in a theater.
But I'm sure if the movies were still in George Lucas's hands, he could probably go back and put characters from the peripheral movies back into the main ones, like he did with Jabba the Hutt and Boba Fett in the first one, which...
Yeah, I guess based on their popularity or whatever.
Yeah, just straight bag of farts.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Well...
What did you watch?
I've also watched a lot.
Oh, shout out to the Winter Classic. That was dope this year also. It was in St. Louis outside, and the setting was really cool. So,
oh, really? Oh, no, that's okay.
NHL Winter Classic. Just saying.
Well...
I'm just going to shout out sports, because, I mean, that's...
Because you're a jock.
Yeah.
That's a big part of things that I would watch.
Yeah. I rewatched Blue Valentine, and it was my first time rewatching it since it originally came out, and it was just as sad, but also just as, I mean, it's an awesome movie. It's a very, very good and beautiful movie.
Yeah, that's some hard-nosed shit.
Yeah, I made the mistake of watching it right before bed, and then I was like, guess I'm crying myself to sleep tonight. And then I watched Nocturnal Animals, which I really, really liked. I thought it was really cool, really stylish, and there was also just, like, between the two main characters, there was, like, such a sharp contrast in the way that everything looked in, like, each person's environment. Like, one person was, like, super, like, yellow, warm-toned, everything, no matter where he was, and then the other character was, like, almost, like, undersaturated and blue-toned, and just, I don't know, just there was just such a stark difference there. It was so cool. I thought that I went into it knowing a lot about it, but I really didn't, and it really surprised me, because it was way more fucked up than I, like, thought it was going to be, but I also... I don't know, as soon as, like, the first 5 minutes of the movie, like, all the expectations that I had of the movie were just, like, gone. I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm, like, signing up for, but I'm excited for it.
Tom Ford, right?
Yeah, Tom Ford.
Cool.
Yeah, and,
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I saw La La Land, and I loved it. It's worth the hype.
You loved it?
Fuck, that's so good.
Ryan Gosling.
Oh, so good.
No, I'm excited. This week, or next week, I'll be able to talk about that.
Nice. Yeah, it was good. Okay, well, I also watched Girl on the Train yesterday. After just finishing the book a few days ago, I was able to watch the movie, which got, like, poor reviews, and I've only heard, like, bad things about it. And I agree that it wasn't good, and I don't think I would recommend watching it. But I was actually able to pinpoint why exactly it was bad compared to the book, which is absolutely amazing. But I think the reason for it was just that it's a very broken narrative, and it's split between 3 women. All of the things that happen and all the realizations that all these women keep having are very, like, internalized thoughts, and it's not, like, spoken dialogue. But what the movie had to do in order to keep from, like, leaving a lot of really important shit out as far as, like, character development and actually just the whole story goes, they had to turn these women's thoughts in the book into, like, spoken words. So, like, there's parts where they're just, like, talking at people, but it's, like, very, like, private thoughts, and it just seems very unnatural and just very strange. But also, yeah, it just wasn't, the movie was very disappointing compared to how great the book was. I think the best part of the movie was, honestly, Emily Blunt acting like a full-blown alcoholic. Oh, and also Laura Prepon yelling at her. That was great.
I know a movie that we all watched, and that movie is Glengarry Glen Ross.
What?
This is a movie that I recommended to the group. It just barely missed my top 3. It's a movie that I understand if people watch it and they're like, this is boring, because it's dialogue driven. There's not a lot of action. It's mostly the script that advances the story.
It was David Mamet, right?
Yeah, David Mamet play originally, and then he helped write the screenplay. And there's, I think, a total of 12 actors in the whole movie, and every one of them, even, like, there's a couple, like, side characters that you barely see, but for the most part, yeah, there's, like, 2 characters. There's the police chief at the end, and maybe a bartender, but everybody in that movie that has a speaking role just nails it. There's no other, like, 100% dead-on performances in any movie that I can think of that compares to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was very well casted. That was, like, one of the best ensemble casts I think anyone could come up with and get these people on board with. I also didn't realize when you were telling me about it that it was based off of a play, which makes sense for the like limited environment.
Right, yeah, the scenery is...
but I really enjoyed it. I will admit, I started it and then got distracted, and since you said it's very dialogue driven, I actually had to, like, restart it just because I didn't feel like I was fully paying attention. But the second time around, and the time that I actually was, like, undivided attention, it was really good and really, really gripping. I think my favorite part of it was Alec Baldwin, actually. Yeah. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just because I love him in general, but, like, he only had, like, 10 minutes of screen time, and he just killed it and, like, killed everyone. And everyone was so shook. And
it's a 100-minute movie. He's in it for 10 minutes, and that's the part that everybody remembers. It's such a iconic performance where he just comes in and just breaks everybody down in this sales room, and everybody, except for the top seller who isn't there, is just straight up like, we don't have to listen to this shit. And he's like, you're right, you don't. You could all be fired, essentially. You're all replaceable. You all suck. Look at the board. Fuck you. you know? But yeah, I think that his role in that, without him in that movie, it would still be a good movie, but just something that grabs your attention that early in the movie and lets you know the stakes. Pretty much you're introduced to the characters, you see their situation, and then he comes in and he's like, this is it. This is what the movie's about. And he does it in a way where you're forced to pay attention to him. And he's a dick. He is such a dick about it. But that's the character.
Right.
He's rich asshole who comes in, makes almost $1 million a year.
You see this watch?
Yeah.
Well, he's like the rich asshole, but everyone else is just as big of an asshole in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's, like, the other thing that is, like, interesting to me is, like, everyone has the exact same commanding... They want to have the same commanding presence, or they did, like Jack Lemmon talking about the fucking 80s throughout, like, the entire movie. It's like, and when did that movie come out?
I believe it came out in 92.
Because it's like, he's talking about, like, 87 to 89, which, like, if that movie came out in 92 and it's time and place, it means, like, he's only had 3 bad years, but that's, like, how cut and dry they are and aren't, because it's still, like, they'll keep you around if you have a bunch of bad years in a row. But, like, his whole thing about, like, wanting to, like, give me the good leads, because, like, I guess 3 years ago he was, like, the man on top. It's like, it just makes it such, like, an interesting story. But yeah, like, Alec Baldwin, I feel like it's interesting that you guys like his performance so much in the movie. Not that I don't, but it's interesting because like it more sets up the mood of the movie, and like these guys are out of nowhere just like working at like when it's like pitch black outside,
Mm-hmm.
and like
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole first like 40 minutes of the movie takes place in the dark. So
the whole movie takes place in the rain.
Yes and
least
no.
as
I
far
mean,
as
then
I
there
can
are
tell,
parts in the
but-
movie like the next day when he, there's the next day.
Oh yeah, that's right. When
Turn in the
after
movie. Yeah, but I'm just
after
saying
Baldwin
there's
leaves.
so much that happens like in between that time where you're like, holy shit, like how long are these people gonna be at work tonight?
Yeah.
Or what time fucking is it even really? Like it's
well,
very
yeah, I
like,
noticed that.
puzzling. Because they're not actually doing any work. Al Pacino's not doing any work like in the office
Mhm.
when it's daylight until like his lead shows up at the office at the end of the movie,
Well, while he was at the bar.
Mhm.
That's when he was.
Well, I know that.
He had him on the hook the
Yeah,
whole time, and you
right.
could see just kind of like how he's talking to him, and he would just slide something in where
Yeah.
he's just like, blah blah blah. This is I'm doing this with my life. I'm
Yeah.
doing this with my life.
Yeah,
Do I
they're-
want to invest in real estate?
Right.
It's like the hook is in the water. There's a worm on it,
Mhm.
and this guy is sniffing it,
Yeah.
and he knows that he's got him, and it's just a matter of time before he just reels him in, and
Right.
he's got him. And everyone, the salesman, has their sales pitch, and they all like you can hear the lies and everything that they go through as they're explaining. Like Jack Lemmon when he's on the phone with Mrs. Nyborg, he's yelling to his fake secretary, but he's in a phone booth, and he's also saying that he's just in town for the day, and he's by the airport. You live near the airport. Let me stop by. And he has such desperation to make these sales, but also his daughter.
At one point, I swear, he says something. He shouts out his secretary, and then like contradicts that in the same part of like a line or two later. Like,
Right.
like he's alone. It's like I don't know. It is like you're saying about everyone just trying to definitely like get their lead out no matter like what they have to do.
Mhm. And they all have different techniques, and
Yeah.
I think all their conversations with each other, they're all immune to each other's bullshit. They know what each other's sales techniques is, and so they just kind of have to maneuver around each other's like, okay, well, he's going to say this. And you could tell, like, when Ed Harris, his character Dave Moss, is yelling at Pacino, Ricky Roma,
Right.
like they're yelling at each other, and you can tell that they're just like, they're past the bullshit. This is the only way that they can communicate now, because they know that anything that the other person says is just going to be either straight insult or it's their sales, their bullshit. That's who they are. Is they're people that will just talk and get their point across and sell you something. That's their job, is to suck you in. And that's every one of them. Even though Alan Arkin's character, he's definitely, he's slipping in the sales, and he does not have the confidence, and you can tell he's stuttering. He doesn't know what to do. And when he's talking to Kevin Spacey, he just basically is like, I can't do this. And everybody's trying to cheer him up, even though they're the competition. Like, this guy, they know he's a good salesman, but he's also a guy who, like, they've worked with him for a while. They don't want to see him go, but
Like, I don't know, going back, what you were saying about them all being, like, immune to each other's bullshit, I really liked seeing that in Kevin Spacey's character as well, considering he's everyone's boss.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and, like, the part where it was, like, towards the beginning where I believe it was Jack Lemmon who was trying to bribe him
Oh
in
yeah.
order to get the leads. And
$50 a
yeah,
lead.
oh yeah. He's like, that'll be $100. That was awesome. I also just love Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
In anything he does. He's like one of my top actors, I think.
He's so good in that movie just because he's a punching bag the whole movie, and he just takes their shit. And then all it takes is one slip up, and he's like, "What do you mean?" And just watching, I don't know. Should we give?
Yeah.
It's been 1992.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. 24 years later. But when Jack Lemmon is basically telling him off after he arises from the sales pool with this magical sale that he did, and he just bitches out Kevin Spacey because he fucked up Ricky Roma's sale. So he's just bitching Spacey out, and Spacey just takes it, and then he's like, "What did you mean when you said that?" And just, you can watch Jack Lemmon unravel, and he's just like, like stuttering and just trying to change the subject, and like, "I didn't say that," and you're caught, and just trying to watch him weasel out of it, again, with his character being like somebody who's so into his own bullshit as far as what he's saying and trying to get out of things. Just watching him squirm. He is, I mean, you realize that his daughter is in the hospital and she's not doing well, and he's not doing well sales-wise. He's going to lose his job. He's grasping at straws. He's just desperate. And every one of them are desperate, except for Pacino. And you can tell just how he speaks to everybody else. He's the man on top right now, and he talks down to the people that are pissed off at him. And, you know, when Alan Arkin comes to him and he's like, "I can't close these leads," he kind of tries to help him out a little bit, but he's also the character. Each character is so, you could do a character study on every one of them and just talk about them forever, just from, again, 100 minutes of movie, just their reactions with each other, and every person.
Right.
Just kick ass.
Yeah.
Great.
It's tricky, but that, I mean, is very well done in that movie.
I did watch something on YouTube about John Landis, who loves the movie. Mm-hmm. He thinks it's one of the greatest movies that he's seen.
Like the John Landis?
The John Landis, yeah. You know, American Werewolf in London and all that good stuff.
Father to Max Landis.
Yeah.
He's an asshole.
So I watched a YouTube video with him, and he was talking about the trailer for the movie, which is cut like a heist film, which it's not. And that's why it did so poorly in theaters, because people are like, you know, it's not...
Yeah, they think it's going to be a heist, and they walk into this, like, big conversation.
Yeah,
of a movie.
And that's what it is.
I mean,
and he was also...
In a sense, it is a heist film.
Yeah. Kind of, but I mean, the heist happens off screen.
Yeah.
And it's not something
where
you
know.
don't know who does it. It's kind of more like a mystery sort of. There is heist aspects.
I'm sure it's
to
not the first time a trailer has been edited like the wrong
way.
way.
Oh no, that happens all the time.
Like Suicide Squad.
And Spring Breakers.
That new Will Smith movie.
Which one?
Where they're
Suicide
totally
Squad.
burying the lead. Collateral Beauty.
Oh.
Or whatever. Where they're like actually not telling you what that movie's like really about in the trailer. I can't wait to talk about that movie at some point.
Have you seen it?
No, but I will.
I don't know if I'm going to see it. It's okay.
Yeah, I watched that movie. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning when I put it on, and I just stepped outside to like just see what it was like the weather was like, and it was like raining and like really shitty out, and like that is like exactly how that movie starts. And I was like, this is like the weirdest perfect tone for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was why I ended up just like watching it all the way through at 4 o'clock in the morning, as opposed to like not like stopping it at some point.
It also holds up. As a person, as a 21-year-old watching it in 2016,
I mean, it's about something that you never think about, like when he's like, they like Jack Lemmon is in that guy's house, being like, "I talked to your wife," and he's like, "Well, my wife's out of town." He whatever, you can
forces his way right in, takes off his jacket.
That's like
and
the whole the whole move, and then it's like, you know, the guy's like, "Look, and I'm sorry."
Yeah,
I've thought about that side of like being a salesman tons of times, like the annoyed customer angle, but you don't think about what people that actually have to do that for a living, like what they go through. And you know,
I mean, it's nothing.
Not
for
that
us
this is like a great example of like, I'm sure that they're not all like actually screaming at each other like 12 angry fucking men in a room, but you know, it's at a time, I'm sure that there were like tons of actual places like in the world like this.
Oh yeah, before the do not call list.
yeah. It's just like, so even though it was only like 20 years ago or whatever, however long ago, like the fact that that's not really like a big mode of like how things get sold now is like, just interesting that it was.
Now, if you had to take one person out of the movie and recast them, who would it be?
Ooh.
And who would you recast them with?
I'll take Jack Lemmon out and I'll replace him with Walter Matthau. The grumpy old man.
I know for a fact I would also take Jack Lemmon out, but I can't think of who I'd replace him with quite yet. I think it's mostly just because I don't think it's Jack Lemmon. I just think it's his fucking character that I was like, every time he was talking, I was like,
yeah, he plays such a just slimy shitbag.
Yeah, when it's like not enough like for Al Pacino to like go off at Kevin Spacey at the end.
God,
it's like it's his own pompous shit that like gets him caught.
Exactly, yeah.
If he just would have kept his mouth shut.
That's exactly it.
That's the whole point of the movie.
Who would you recast?
I don't know. As somebody who has seen the movie a lot, I mean, even the Jonathan Pryce, the guy who comes in and actually buys the property from Pacino and then comes back the next day, I would probably recast him, but I don't know who I would recast him with.
William, what's that guy's name from like Manhunter? Live and Die in L.A. that I'm always like shouting out.
Who? What's his first name again?
William
Hurt.
No.
H. Macy.
What about Bob Hoskins? I'm just looking at a photo of Bob Hoskins at the moment.
You just have those handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think I
Was
don't know.
Jeff Bridges the man back then? Was he like around in '92? He could probably.
I think I would cast a woman.
Ooh, little Jessica Chastain.
Well, that's a thing. Is like you don't see there are no women.
I know.
In this movie,
like, where's the estrogen?
all.
Yeah.
And I think that's for the time that it was. That it was like all salesmen in there fucking smoking also, and hating each other.
But literally, there isn't a woman in this movie, and that's something that they could have changed because they're constantly saying. Oh, yeah, well, my wife, oh, yeah, she's out of town, or, oh, yeah, well, my wife this or that. Oh, like, all these guys that they're selling to have to fucking deal with their wives anyway.
Mm. Right.
Why not one of the 4 times you say, like, my wife is away, actually have your wife be, like, around to be on the phone, or, but, again, it's a...
I think the majority of the people that they're talking to, the guy who Jack Lemmon goes to his house, he's like, my wife filled out this form. We've been getting calls from you guys ever since. Yeah. Basically, fuck off. So I think that's what it is that, the men are like, we don't want to deal with this. Stop. We're done. It was a bad decision on our part.
I think I would probably cast a woman as Alec Baldwin's character just to see. I would love to see a woman like say the things that Alec Baldwin
would be pretty
was
cool.
Saying. Yeah.
Especially the brass balls part. That'd be sick as shit.
Yeah, that'd be so
just
sick.
Bring them out. Brass balls.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing. I gotta think. There's a lot of women that I would just like let scream at me, so I like need to think. I need to go through my list.
True.
Do you guys have any women in mind besides Jessica Chastain, who would probably do it well too, but I don't think she would actually do that.
Let me think. I'm drawing a blank.
I almost said Olivia Munn, but then I took it back. Seeing her mad is fun though.
Yeah. She seems like she could definitely handle like being
she did
an
shit
angry
like that.
person.
Oh yeah,
like
she
as
did shit
far
like
as
that
actress
in like the newsroom.
goes.
Well, that's what's his name though. Like, who wrote the newsroom?
Sorkin.
Yeah. Sorkin's like pretty good at making like female roles.
He is
strong female roles.
I would like to switch some roles. I would like to see Ed Harris in Al Pacino's role and vice versa. I think Pacino does a lot of angry yelling, sometimes way too over the top if you've seen Heat.
I have.
Oh my god. Watch it, but they're just like, the leash is off, be you. Just do it. And he just goes crazy. Scent of a Woman also. But
I've seen that. That's like one of my mom's favorite movies, which is weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's fucking weird.
She's a weird lady. Shout out to my mom though.
Shout out to weird moms.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Shout
I think
out to all my goop punch head.
Ed Harris, I think he could handle, being the man on top, king shit, and Pacino obviously can yell at people. Is there anything else anybody wanted to say about Glengarry Glen Ross?
I don't have anything else to say about
it. I don't think I do.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, I did really, really enjoy it, but I think... Alright, well, I guess that wraps it up for this episode. If you are listening and you like what you've been hearing, make sure that you follow us on Instagram at Filmspeak, and we are also on Twitter at FilmspeakPod, and we do have a Facebook page.
Peace.